Hey card making friends, it's Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to play with some Lindy's Magicals and some Nuvo shimmer powders and show you how I make the backgrounds. I recently shared a bunch of cards with the Syberia Designs and new press plate release, and I had an awful lot of questions about the backgrounds that I was using, and so here is the promised video on how you get all those cool colors on one background. It's a super messy technique, so you want a ton of paper towel around. I have a bunch of the Lindy's Magicals. I have a bunch of the Nuvo shimmer powders. I have a bunch of Kansan watercolor paper, and it's cut in half. This is the one I like to use. It's cheap and it goes a long way. 140 pound, works great. Okay, so I think I have about 8 of those cut in half. I have a bunch of fan brushes and my favorites, my Lindy's Magicals. You also need some spritzers. I got 3 different kinds that I like to use. Usually I use the Tim Holtz one. I really like how heavy the water comes out of that one. I'm also working on top of my glass mat because it makes it really easy to clean up. And I cannot tell you enough times how messy this is. Okay, these pigments are powdery. They blow around all over the place and they get all over the place. So grab your paper towel and work on that. It will help to keep this all kind of corralled, for a better word. Okay, I'm going to start with the kind of blue gold one that I used on the card, and I'm going to be using Lindy's Magicals, the Tibetan Poppy Teal, the Poutine Gold, and the Maple Syrup Bronze. Okay, and I'm just showing you the different bottles. Lindy's comes in these little pods or a shaker tube, and the Nuvos come in a little squeeze bottle. Don't squeeze it. All you have to do is tap. If you squeeze it, you're going to get way more powder than you need. You can either do a dry or a wet. I find using the wet method, where I wet the paper first, helps to corral the pigment and keep it on my paper instead of blowing all over the place. Otherwise, if you put it on dry and then you hit it with the spritzer, it kind of blows it all over the place. And I'm not kidding, this stuff is highly pigmented and it will stain almost everything. So I started by using my magnets that came with my glass mat. They're not porous, so they're not going to pick up any of the color. You can clean them off at the end, but it holds the paper down flat for me so that I can get a bunch more water in there. And you really do need a lot of water for the technique that I like to use, because I'm blending 2 or 3 colors and I want them to blend together, but not completely. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with brown, right? We've all done that watercolor trick. Okay, so I have my first go round with the Tibetan Poppy Teal. Now I'm adding some Poutine Gold, and as far as I'm concerned, Poutine Gold should be on everything. It is so shimmery and so pretty, and it just really elevates each of the colors. And I'm doing this in real time for this first one. I'll speed up the rest of them because right now this video is 25 minutes long. I don't think you want to hear me talk for 25 minutes, but I'm just doing real time for the first one so that you see my process. Okay, so I like to line my bottles up on the left-hand side so I know which ones I'm using. And again, I have a bunch of pigment sitting on there, so I'm spritzing it again, and this is activating all the pigment and getting it to move around. And I'm deciding that I think I need a little bit more of the green. Oh, it's actually bronze. It just looks green. That's the one thing about the pods when they're open. It's hard to determine which colors. So I like to also keep the lids close, and I always put a lid back on when I'm finished. I have not done that, and it's been very hard to figure out which ones to put them back on because there is no name on the bottom of the little jar. Okay, so now we're going to pick it up, and I'm just wetting down where the magnets were to get rid of that white mark. You want to pick it up and you want to let it run. And here's the second reason why we're on the paper towel. There's an excessive amount of water on this, and you need a place to get rid of the puddles. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a really yucky puddle when it dries on your watercolor paper. And so having the paper towel underneath, it's going to wick up all the extra. And over to the left-hand side of my workspace, I also have a great big huge covered space also with paper towel where I can put these to dry while I work on the next one. This is quite messy. It's a lot of fun, but it is very messy. So when I'm making backgrounds, I make a whole pile of them at once, and then I've just got a whole stash of them to work on. And I probably do this 2 or 3 times a year because the cleanup, like I go through half a roll of paper towel doing the cleanup because you find pigment everywhere. Okay, so the first one's finished, and then the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you get a sticky note and you write the colors that you used and you put it down on the paper towel beside your piece of background paper that is going to dry. That way you're going to know what the colors are, just in case you want to repeat it, or if you're like me and you have to do a blog post and people want to know what colors they are. Okay, so you can clean your magnets off. I end up using tweezers for most of mine, so I'm just going to move the magnets out of the way and we're going to start another one. This color combination is Lizzie's Cup of Tea Teal, Rusty Lantern Lime Time Traveler, and Maple Leaf Bronze. And the Rusty Lantern Lime has lots of green in it. It's a really, really pretty green. And it combines beautifully with the teal. And then I'm trying to reproduce the background from the very first card that I showed you at the beginning. It had a little bit of bronze in it, and that's where the Maple Leaf Bronze come in. That is another really nice color, the Maple Leaf Bronze, and it goes with pretty much everything because it's almost gold. Okay, so I'm showing you the little shaker bottle, and then I've got a couple little jars here that I'm going to be adding the color to. The Lizzie's Cup of Tea Teal is a lot lighter than the other teals that I have, and it has a nice green pigment in it and a little bit of yellow. So it's a very nice combination, and it ends up making a really nice background. Okay, so just spritzing to get everything activated. Deciding which colors you might need some more of. I decide I need some more of the teal. And I'm also filling in a couple of the white spots that have grown. And you get the white spots down the edge quite often. You also get it across the top because, of course, it's arching itself a little bit, so the pigment is moving. Okay, so then you're going to pick it up and roll it around, and this is a great way to move the color around. When you get a great big splotch like that, leave some of those. They make really, really cool planets and other things that I have found some great ways to use those up. Okay, so moving that off to the side, and we're going to start another one right after I put my sticky note over there. Next up, I'm going to use a pinky red, and we're using the Nuvos this time, the Catherine Wheeler, the Cherry Bomb, and the Lilac. And this one ends up pretty bright. Cherry Bomb kind of takes over, so you got to be really careful with Cherry Bomb. And see how fast that comes out? The Nuvo stuff comes out really easily out of those bottles, so be careful with it. And, you know, grab a bunch of these and give them a try. Maybe you're going to come up with some color combinations that are different in mine than that you really, really like. I come along here very shortly, and there's one that I don't like, and I show you how to take most of the pigment off and then reuse the paper with some additional color changes. And sometimes you just have to play with it. Like right now, there's way too much red in there with the Cherry Bomb taking over, and so I just keep adding more lilac. And I'm trying to decide if I like it or not. And I'm going to add some more Catherine Wheeler because there's a lot of orange in it. And I'm thinking that's going to tone this down a little bit. And it does. And the other thing you want to remember is this is going to dry off a little bit lighter than when it's wet. When it's red, it's kind of the darkest. And it does lighten up. Kind of like most of our water-based inks that we play with in our ink pads. Okay, so I'm not hating that one, so I'm going to set it aside. Next up, we're going to do a blue and purple one. So we're going to play with Banff Blue, and that's a Lindy's. And then we've got Violet Brocade and Lilac Waterfall from Nuvo. Spritzing up my paper, starting with clean paper towel. And I didn't want any of the blue or green to wick into this off the paper towel. So Banff Blue is brand new to me. Never seen this before, but it is beautiful. It has a little bit of purple in it. It'd make great hydrangeas if you happen to be playing with those. Okay, so I'm giving this a really good spritz, and then we're going to incorporate the other violets in. And we kind of go down a rabbit hole here. I kind of forgot that the Violet Brocade had a lot of pink in it, and I'm about to be reminded. So I'm just taking the lids off of my lilac. I'm holding my paper down with my tweezers and spritzing a whole bunch of the purple around. And as soon as I start spritzing the water on it, I remember about it. Grab some dry paper towel and wick it all up and get as much of that out of there as you can. And you can save this piece of paper, and we are just going to incorporate the colors that we really want. So I put the violet brocade away, put the lid back on it, moved it aside, and I'm going to add a whole bunch more lilac. We're going to get that going. And then I'm going to add some more Banff blue, and I end up adding too much of the blue, so I end up having to wick some of that off as well. But this is easy. You just wet it down and then pick up the pigment with a paper towel. If you let it dry, you're kind of hooped. It's going to be what it is. Okay, so wetting it down really, really heavily, and then adding a whole bunch more of the Lilac Waterfall, which is a lovely color all on its own. I was kind of looking for like a Northern Lights type of thing with this one, but I wanted it a lot lighter. And so when you pick it up and start letting it run, then you're getting the violet into some of those white spots. And I'm adding more violet to let it run near the top, and then spritzing more at the bottom. And that, of course, lightens up the colors as well. Okay, next we're going to do a green and a yellow, and I'm playing with Nuvo for these. Atlantic Burst, which is absolutely beautiful. It's Atlanta, not Atlantic. And Solar Flare. Awesome colors, both of them. Okay, so starting off with this beautiful pale yellow, and then the Atlanta Burst is also a nice pale green. So these look really nice together, especially when they're dried. And if you want like nice daisies and leaves and things like that, this is your colors. Okay, so again, you want to just pick it up and let it run. Adding some more color to it. Too much white showing, so we need to add some more pigment. So I'm basically going around the outside and across that middle, across the top, and then adding some more water, and then blending the colors. I'm going to let that run this way this time. Look at how pretty that is. Wow. At the end of the video, I show these all when they're dry. Okay, next let's dive into some pinks. I'm going to be playing with Rambling Rose Pink, Past the Jam Jane, and a little bit of gold. Okay, I'm starting with, which one am I starting with? Rambling Rose Pink, I believe. It has a little bit of orange in it, which is quite nice. And then I'm going to come in with Past the Jam Jane. I don't know who named these things. They make me giggle. There has to be an English background to the person who is naming these. Okay, give it a good old spritz, get it going. And this is a really nice combination of pinky reds. Kind of like it. There's a little bit of orange kicking in there. And then I kind of decide that I think it needs a little bit of gold. Just to lighten it up a little bit. Okay, moving everything out of the way and spritzing the heck out of it. This is really pretty. This is going to make some nice cards. Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. Sadly, my camera didn't focus on these, but it's Cheerio Cherry and Ritzy Rose Gold we're going to play with this time. We as well, seeing as our paper towel already has pink and red on it. So, spritzing the heck out of the watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to start with the Cheerio Cherry, which is a lovely, lovely color. It's a very soft, it's red. It's more red than pink. And then the Ritzy Rose Gold just takes this to new heights, I'll tell you. It's just beautiful. Okay, so I've loaded it all up, moving everything out of the way, and we are going to spritz the heck out of this. Going to add some more color, move this around a little bit first, make sure we got everything covered. We're going to add some more of the Cheerio Cherry and spritz that again, and that's pretty nice. Okay, two colors I haven't tried before, Pinkies Up Pink and Oh Canada Crimson. So we're wetting down our paper, and we're going to start with the Pinkies Up Pink, which by all accounts should be a nice pale pink. It looks rather orange to me, but we'll see once we get it all spritzed. The label looks like it's very light pink, and sometimes that's deceiving. And the crimson looks very dark. Okay, there's definitely an orange to it, but it's pretty. Wow, look at that run. Ooh, nice. adding some more color, filling in some of the white. I was just looking at a label. Sorry, I stopped talking there for a sec. Spritzing this down. I'm liking this. This has got such deep, beautiful colors in it. Got a few spots where I need to get it blending a little bit more and getting it running a little bit more and getting rid of a couple of white spots at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add a little bit of Autumn Maple Crimson to this. I haven't tried this color yet, and I'm thinking that it's going to go very nicely with what's on here already. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, look at that bleed. Man, oh man, look at the depth of color in this. Wow. Okay, I need some greens and some blues for some upcoming projects, so I have got some colors out here. Emerald A, Lucky Shamrock Green, Ponderosa, Looney Toony Teal, and Time Traveler Teal. And basically what I'm going to do here is I am going to put a little bit of each of them onto this little piece of paper because I can't really remember what the colors are like. I need to swatch these is what I need to do. Okay, so there's the three greens that I'm playing with. Ponderosa over on the right-hand side also has some blue in it, as you can see. And then we've got the Looney Tune Teal on the left and the Time Traveler Teal on the right. So Looney Tune Teal has more green in it and Time Traveler has more blues. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start with the Time Traveler Teal and I'm going to add a whole bunch of that all over it. I decide that's the base color that I would like. Okay, and then I'm coming back in with Lucky Shamrock Green. And I'm kind of thinking about emerald, but I end up with a Looney Tune Teal, I think. I'm going to water this down first, let it run a little bit. Some of those colors are still really, really dark, so you need to add more color to them. Okay, and get it running a little bit. Then you'll get your white spots. So you can add some more pigment back into those spots. And it looks like I'm putting a lot of pigment in, but I'm really not. Those fan brushes don't pick up very much. Just enough to get you going. Okay, and I really like this one. I end up doing this one twice because I do need a whole bunch of this for some upcoming cards. So this is one of my favorites. The final combination is going to be the golds and the bronzes. So I've got Glitzy Gold, Maple Syrup Bronze, and we have I didn't use Steampunk Sepia, Poutine Gold, and Showstopper Copper. And again, what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of each onto here, and I want to see what the colors look like. And I'm letting them run because some of them have got a mix of different colors in them. You see that first one's got a little bit of green. Look at that copper, it's beautiful. Oh, yummy. Oh, that one's pretty too. Got a lot of red in it though. Okay, so we're going to end up with the Poutine Gold and the Glitzy Gold and a little bit of the Showstopper Copper. That was the other color I was looking for. Okay, made my decision. So wetting this down, doesn't matter that there's a little bit of blue and all that on there. This will fill it in, and even if the blue shows through a little bit, so be it. It gives a nice, kind of little, whoo, look what's going on over here. Okay, so I'm dumping the color on, adding a little bit of water just to get it going and actually to hold it on the paper. And I'm going heavy with the Showstopper Copper. It's really pretty. And then topping that with the Glitzy Gold or the Poutine Gold. Everybody needs a little bit of gold in their life, right? This ends up being extraordinary when it's dry. Wait till the very end and I'll show it to you. It is so pretty. Okay, so I'm cleaning up that little white edge down the right-hand side there. And I want a little bit more gold. Okay, the Poutine Gold and the Glitzy Gold both kind of cover the top of all of the colors, especially the Glitzy Gold. It's very light and it gives a beautiful finish to your colors. Try it on pink and green. Both of them are fabulous. Okay, and I'm just letting that run. This is gorgeous. Just a quick chat about cleanup. Okay, you want the ends of your tweezers. You want to water them down really well and then give them a good wipe with a dry cloth. And you want to do the same thing with your brushes. I sometimes spritz them here. Usually what I do is I take them to the sink and wash them with soap, because then you get all of the colors out. You don't want any little surprises the next time you go to use your brushes. I hate it when that happens. Anyway, then we have our work surface, and you'll see I have this whole bunch of dry pigment over here. You're just going to wet this down, and you're going to take your paper towel, because this is a glass mat. It is nice and easy to clean up. Unfortunately, this pigment spreads a little bit farther than this. Okay, so I'm just giving a final clean to my magnets, because again, I don't want to transfer any of that pigment the next time I go to use them. They're not porous, so it doesn't stick, but there could still be some stuff sitting in the bottom there. So give them a good wipe. Okay, and then make sure you clean your entire work surface. So here's the finished sheets once they've all dried. Everything I've used today is listed underneath the video. There's also a link over to my blog. Tomorrow I'm going to be sharing a video on some finished cards using these products and some Alex Syberia Designs background plates. I'm going to be doing some foiling and a few other different things with these guys. And I've also got another video coming shortly that uses a few more of them. But this gives you a really kind of overview of how I like to try these colors, see which ones I like, see which ones I don't like. Just have some fun with it. Spend a whole afternoon doing it. It's rainy and snowy here today, overcast and cloudy. It was the perfect day to sit and do this. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends and leaving me a kind comment. I would really appreciate that. And until next time, toodles!